July 21st, US perpetual style futures will be launched by Coinbase. No quarterly expiration dates, spot price tracking, embedded leverage, and all on a CFTC regulated US exchange. And that got the timeline discussing. And I feel like one of the main discussion points was, well, there was two discussion points. A, will people use that? And there's like various takes as to why people will or won't use that. And B, what does it mean for Hyperliquid? Is this bullish for Hyperliquid? Is it over for Hyperliquid? Or does it even matter? That's basically the discussion that sparked. Maybe starting with the first part, will people use it? There's been a couple pro takes. The one I got on screen by Steven is saying trading Coinbase perps has a huge tax advantage over other crypto perps and spot platforms. That is from a US perspective. I don't know why all US crypto traders wouldn't switch to this the minute it goes live. It has to do with the 60-40 tax rule, which we just don't have the time to get into that. But that's one of the pro arguments. It might constitute a tax advantage. Also going back once again to Mr. Todd, whom we quoted earlier on the show, not a fan of that, saying it's a front-end rig on the CME, far better product. CB is Coinbase's low value provider. There's zero consumer rewards. It's not even close as a product. Maybe one day. This is not it. That's it from the user's perspective. Real quick, B, do you want to add anything to that, or shall we go on to like the Hyperliquid lens?
Just I want to hear these variety of views because there were a few interesting views expressed.
Then moving on to the Hyperliquid side, Ericonomics said the Hyperliquid FUD due to Coinbase listing perps on the US will last until they effectively launch it and get less than 1% of the volume and open interest than Hyperliquid. This kind of reminded me of Coinbase launching the NFT marketplace, which is when we all back in the time hope this is going to constitute our exit liquidity. Monk is saying that Coinbase perps is net bullish for Hyperliquid. Power users will eventually want composability, low fees, non-KYC. Eventually, they funnel into Hyperliquid. On the other end, I don't think we see leakage within Hyperliquid's core users towards a more centralized venue. That's also a good way to look at it, to think like if people from Hyperliquid leave for Coinbase. Another take for the past 2 years, anytime anybody has ever posted about using Coinbase, that's been the most negative soul-wrenching experience possible. I'm sure the perps offering will be best in class and blow away the competition, a bit more sarcastic in nature. Then the other side of that, Coinbase being net bearish for Hyperliquid. New competitive Hyperliquid is fully US compliant, has a large user base, and has bought a large derivatives exchange that is Deribit. Robinhood will launch a perps product to compete with Coinbase, adding another fully US compliant exchange with a large user base. Robinhood users do like to gamble, they do like leverage, and Robinhood's product team moves fast. We've seen the Hood stock, by the way, also doing pretty well. So Robinhood's product team moves fast, e.g. prediction market integration. My intuition tells me that people use Hyperliquid because there's no KYC, there's no similar leverage product offering on US exchanges or exchanges that service US users. It's the best perp quote unquote DEX product. And it's well done in terms of customer acquisition and retention via airdrop and tokenomics. A couple more takes. I'm going to pause there for a second.
Yeah, I think I thought it was helpful to hear all the variety of takes because I actually think they're all pretty good takes. Like I think they're all, when I was going through them, I thought they were all had reasonable points, and I didn't like strongly disagree with any, in the sense that like I can definitely see why some of the Coinbase argument was strong. I could also see very clearly why the Hyperliquid argument was strong. My intuition here, I don't actually know, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. But as I was hearing those out, and Funky, I'm going to come to you in a second as well. We'll go Funky, then back to Ledge to close the show. I agree with that final take, which is people use Hyperliquid because there's no KYC, there's no similar product on the US at the moment. And I also agree that with the take, the kind of jokey take, which is, I don't know how well loved Coinbase is a product at the moment. I think, at least from what I've observed online, there's been a lot of people saying like, look, my money's stuck, I can't get it out, blah, blah, blah. Like people are pulling their hair out trying to use Coinbase. You obviously don't have that in a, quote unquote, decentralized perps exchange. One final point, which I'm thinking out loud here, is I think you can have as many users as you want in one aspect of crypto. Like Coinbase can have as many users as they want. And I know they've bought Deribit, which I think is relevant. But Robinhood, for example, do not have perps at the moment, but they do like to gamble. It's not straightforward to just turn all your users into perps traders. Like I am been in this space for 4 years. So clearly I'm not averse to risk. I have not put on one leverage trade on Hyperliquid yet. Like I've used Hyperliquid a lot and I'm super exposed to the ecosystem and I'm off in the EVM and I'm doing all kinds of things. But like it's not necessarily straightforward to convert even a high risk individual or someone who has a high risk tolerance into a perps trader like automatically. I don't think so. That's one thing I'd say. Like Hyperliquid has all the people already doing the things that they're doing. These people have a bunch of users who they're hoping will use the perps products, I think. And maybe I'm kind of lean, obviously we're maybe biased. We have significant hype holdings. I'm kind of leaning towards Hyperliquid or Hood, frankly. And maybe that's a little bit of bias because we have the memory of them allegedly going to take over the whole NFT market. And if you were here in 2021, people were literally, including myself, this is a funny thing. I bought NFTs because I thought that Coinbase were going to onboard the world to NFTs and I'd be able to sell them to people who got involved. Like I literally did that. That is a literal thing that I did. But sometimes you can't execute in this new vertical that you're kind of going into. That's just the reality of business. It doesn't matter how significant you are in one vertical. So, Funky, want to come to you first. Oxy's got his hand raised. Then we'll come to you to close the show, Ledge. Just a few more minutes as we're running over here. Funky. Okay, maybe Funky is not with us now. Maybe he's kind of running over time. Oxy, do you want to come in here instead?
Yeah, super quick. I think so. I was just a quick and dirty research looking at Robinhood's Q1 2025 review. It looks like I think the people that you're going to be capturing here are options traders on Robinhood if they were to adopt perps, and I think that's who are the like easy transfer. I think we talked about this on the show previously with Brad, but 41% of Robinhood's volume for Q1 2025 was through option contracts. And I think that's super reflective of who's the user is going to be for perps because it's a leverage trade, right? So I'll be really interested to see if Robinhood does adopt this. Do they capture a huge portion of that because it's easy to, I think they're much easier. Perps are much easier to comprehend than options are. So I just thought that was interesting.
That's really helpful numbers there, Oxy. Appreciate that additional point. Ledge, we're running over here, but went through a variety of takes there. Where are you coming down here if you have to?
I think both things can do well and are doing well. I mean, Robinhood is up 34% over the last month as a stock. Hyperliquid is obviously doing extremely well as an ecosystem. I do think that both speak to a different kind of user groups. Just thinking about this post that I saw today by Pix, who had a couple of airdrop guides and farming guides for Hyperliquid. He said, just saw someone use my strategy and casually bridge mid 7 figures to Hyper EVM. That's what I call onboarding Hyperliquid. And that's a different user group to people trading options on Robinhood and now looking to get into perps. So I think there's enough money to go around for both things being able to do well. And I don't think that Coinbase perps is going to be, even if it's going to launch and be like super successful from the get-go, going to be successful, and Robinhood is going to build something to compete with Coinbase, then I don't think that this is the end of Hyperliquid. And neither do I think that Hyperliquid is the end of TradFi perps products.